I've got this bucket of lovely machined English oak that I was given by a friend of mine. He was having his outbuilding clad in it and didn't have anything to do with the scrap ends, so luckily enough he just gave them to me for free. I'm going to be using the parts of this old beat up IKEA picture frame. I go through the bucket to find two pieces which match the length of the sides and the top. I don't want the pieces too long because I'm going to be cutting them down to size, so the bigger pieces are just going to be wasted. I then strip the frame down to find the parts I need. The backing board's pretty good, and obviously the mount and the glass is what I need, but the frame is just junk. I start by ripping down the two pieces to get the thickness that I want. This English oak is pretty hard stuff. Looks like it's time for a new table saw blade. Nothing a little sanding won't get rid of though. I start by measuring the thickness of the backing board, the mount and the glass together. This will tell me how deep I need to make the first cut. It's just over 5mm. So I set my calipers to 6.5, so I've got a bit of room to manoeuvre. I set the width of the cut to be 3mm, which, including the saw blade, will then turn out to be about 5. I make the next cut by just offering up the wood and eyeballing it, but in case you need to know the math, the width of the cut needs to be exactly the same as the depth of the first cut, so in this case 6.5mm. Obviously that's including the saw blade. Lesson learned, I replace the blade on my miter saw before starting my miter cuts. I then make the miter cuts on the end of all 4 pieces. I'm making these frames to a specific size, so I'm using the glass for all my measurements. I'm just offering up the glass, marking where I need to make the cut, and then using a framing square to give me a 45-degree reference. I then make the cut on the miter saw. Offer up that piece to the frame to make sure it's the right size. I can then use that piece to mark the cut on the opposite side. It's crucial that these two pieces are exactly the same length. I could make 8 perfect 45-degree cuts here, but if I don't get the opposing lengths to be exactly the same, then all the joints are going to be out of line. Now with 2 sides done, I just repeat the exact same process for the other 2 sides. Use the glass to mark it, then the framing square to extend the line, and then the miter saw to make the cut. Once I have one, I just copy it exactly for the next one. And then it's time for the glue up. So there we are, there's the picture frame more or less done, and I'm really happy with how those miters turned out. Looks good. There's just one minor imperfection in this corner here, but it's so slight you probably can't even see it. It's nothing that glue and sawdust won't fix. But what I want to do is strengthen the frame. So I've got a choice. I could either just shoot brad nails into the side, which is what I would normally do, but I'm going to try something a little bit different. I don't have a spline jig. I'll probably get around to making one at some point, but I don't have one right now. So what I thought I'd try is doing the same with dowels. Putting the dowel across the miter. Now I've got this pine dowel, and this is 6mm. So a 6mm wood drill bit and this should fit snugly. I'm going to do a little test first just to make sure. Okay, there it is, 6mm drill bit, and that's the finish I'll get. That process was a lot more awkward than the clips made it look. Here I'm using a flush cut saw just to trim the pieces down before sanding. So there we go guys, one oak picture frame. Turned out quite nice, huh? This was actually a present for my wife's father. She sprung this on me last minute. It's Father's Day tomorrow, please can you make me a picture frame? Yeah, okay. So, with the dowel joins in the corner, they were a bit of a struggle to get in, I'm going to be honest. The holes are too tight and hammering at the angle. Just using the pine dowels, they were breaking a lot. So, you know, it was fiddly to get them in, and to be honest, you can't even really see them unless you look. I mean, if this thing is just on the wall, you're not going to notice them. So, was it worth the time putting them in? Yeah, probably was. It's always good to try something new, especially maybe if you had a light wood, dark wood, and they were a really contrast, and you could see they'd be a nice accent piece on a frame. Makes it a bit special. Yeah, why not? Strength-wise, though, the dowels make the corners solid as a rock. Honestly, I think you could throw this thing at a wall and it wouldn't come apart. So maybe if you were making a much larger frame, maybe something for a mirror, then yeah, great idea. I know picture frames are a bit of a woodworker's rite of passage, but it's something I missed over. I've never made a picture frame before, this is my first one. So if you liked it, hit the like button. If you hated it, you hated it. But as always, your feedback is appreciated. Cheers!